The Simone Feiler podcast, giving authors a platform. Welcome to the podcast.
G'day there, I'm Simone Feiler. Welcome to my podcast where I give authors a platform and explore stories behind the purpose-driven people making a difference in the world. And today I'm so thrilled to be joined by Kath Orman. Kath's been a financial planning wizard in the world since 1987, but her approach is anything but traditional. She's a certified financial planner, Reiki healer, angel intuitive, and the author of Attitude, Abundance and Action, which we've just wrapped up the recording of the audiobook version, which Kath beautifully self-narrated, I might add. Through her business, Goals and Dreams Financial Planning, she's helped hundreds of clients not just improve their finances, but realign their lives with balance, purpose and joy. Kath's mission is very clear: to help people find freedom, not just through money, but through mindset, motivation, and a holistic sense of abundance. I'm super excited to chat with Kath today. After listening to her audiobook, it's amazing. It's going to change your life. Welcome to the Simone Feiler podcast, Kath.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. It's been an incredible journey.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So I ask everybody, of course, how did you find the experience narrating your book? And was it kind of different or the same as what I pointed out in my initial process?
I think you gave me a very clear direction of what it would be like, and you know, when it's the passion of what you're speaking the words, well, you know, apart from the eventual flip up of words and things like that, you know where you want to accentuate something and get the message across. So you made it very simple and easy and, very
Excellent.
exciting. Thank you.
Well, you did a really good job.
Thank you.
And obviously you know your subject very well because, you know, you accentuated those bits where I could hear that you were really passionate about.
Yes.
You know, even towards the end you were saying the action, you know, that's not the fun stuff, but you were still very passionate about that, and you could hear that your authority in those sections as well. So you've had such a unique journey bringing finance and holistic themes together. Tell us about your transition from financial planning into the world of healing and how you've combined both.
Well, it's one of those things that you just walk in your own truth, I guess. The universe sends you people that come across your path. And yes, so I love the writings of Louise Hay all those years ago, and got to meet her, and I got to meet Robert Holden.
That's amazing that you got to meet Louise Hay.
Yes, and Doreen Virtue as well with the Angel Intuitive. And for many years, all the different things that I'd learnt and studied and wanted to know more about, I tried to compartmentalise it. So, okay, so I'm doing Reiki now, so I've got this, you know. But after a while, it all just melds together and you realise, well, this is who I am. I have all these different things I've learnt along the way, and it's just, you're sitting in front of me being a potential client for financial planning, but if people are open and receptive to it, it just automatically flows in, because I can see by their body language, I can see by the words they use, and, you know, you just life skills that you've grown and learnt along the way that just become who you are. Yeah, and what you bring.
So people come to see you at Goals and Dreams, that's your business. Is it primarily for financial planning, or is it to see you as a Reiki instructor?
Oh, no, it's the Goals and Dreams Financial Planning. That's the, you know, the purpose of my business, and that started in 2001. But yes, I've done lots of other things on the side and run retreats for women, and, you know, just always wanting to make a difference and help people.
Yeah,
and
that's amazing. Yeah. So you've been in Goals and Dreams, your business, for the last 37 years or so.
Well, my business started in 2001, but I've been a planner for 37 years.
Since 1987 or thereabouts. Your business has still been going for many, many years.
24 years,
That's incredible. Well done, you.
Thank you.
And as a single mum, you launched it all?
Yes, as many things happen in life, let's do everything at once, go through a divorce and leave a well-paid income and start your own business all at the same time. And there were times at the start I would come through the back door after having seen a barrister or something and having a bit of a cry and put your lippy on and like, I just started a business and I've got 2 kids who are 10 and 6. You know, there's no option but to succeed. So through those life things, you have that ability to be able to relate to people because you've been through stuff as well.
Yeah,
you know.
for sure. And do you think that's why Goals and Dreams works, is your relatability to people? Or do you think that's why businesses work in general?
Well, I've been a female in a male-dominated industry, so my first conference was myself and 28 men, and I'm tall. I already stood out anyway.
Yeah.
But I think women
You
bring...
go, girl.
Women bring that ability to our intuition and our, you know, we're very much focused on the bigger picture. And I think it's not just about the numbers, it's how you're living your life as well. And whilst financial planning has moved to a more goals-based environment now, that's how I started. And, you know, it's taken the others a little bit longer to catch up. But it's not just about the money. Yeah.
You've got a really good relationship with your clients, you know, and I've learnt that from the book. So obviously you're doing something right. And a lot of your clients, if not all of them, have all been on holiday and send postcards to you, which you've got up on your wall at your workplace.
Yes, it's that human element that when you really take an interest in people and their lives, and it's you know, the compliance part of it is what we have to do, dot your I's and cross your T's. But when that gets overwhelming, I go and stand at the postcard board, and that reminds me I helped that person get to Paris, or I helped that person buy this new car, or whatever it is. And it's being excited for them and helping people to stop procrastinating about life. It's working on what you do want to achieve, not a whole list of what you don't want. And that's often a trend. People will come in and tell me all the things they don't want. And when I ask them what they do want, they look a bit gobsmacked. Like,
I don't know.
I spend so much time on what I don't want. And that's a real turning point. It's the thoughts we think and the words we use. It can make a big difference. And when you become more aware of that, oh, well, actually, no, I don't really want to do that, but I do want to go overseas, or I want to live by the beach, or whatever it is that you really want to do. Yeah. And then the financial part is the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that we put together so that you can help you achieve those things.
It's really interesting that you incorporate mindset and mindfulness and those sort of things in financial planning. And interesting too, my mum got very unwell and passed away from cancer in 1997, but she was reading Louise Hay and that sort of stuff, and I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I wasn't in that headspace at that time. And then I went through the same sort of thing, a divorce,
Stuff.
A breakdown.
Yes,
a breakdown. So that was 2016, and I started realising about that stuff as well, that you can create your life with the thoughts that you have. So, and that's how I created my business. And then when you came in, it was a very timely reminder to think about, that you could create your future by your thoughts. So it's a very timely book that you've got, Attitude, Abundance and Action. And, I mean, it is all about attitude. How do you sway someone's mindset who comes in and says, I can only think about the negatives?
Well, an example that comes to mind was a young lady when she came in a number of years ago, and the first words out of her mouth, I don't think she'd even sat down. She said, I'm hopeless with money. Oh. And so once she's had a sit, and I said, how about, can we just change that to, in the past, I was hopeless with money. And she sort of looked at me, and then we went along this whole pathway and taught her how to budget, and she learnt so much. And then she met her now husband, and she brought him in, and I started at the beginning, and he said, oh no, she's actually taught me all the things you've taught her, you know. And then they you know, bought a place together, and it's just being able to achieve those things that in the past would have been, oh, I'll never be able to do that, because of that mindset and the words she was telling, the negative beliefs that she was so hooked up on.
It's a very old school kind of thing, isn't it?
It is, and I think this is what I learnt, that, you know, stuff that's passed on from our parents or grandparents, sometimes it's wonderful and sometimes it can be challenging. And you know, we all understand when you hear your mother or your father's words come out of your mouth.
Yes.
You can
So
relate
true.
to that. And, you know, I grew up on a farm, and it was really hard, and I saw my mum and dad struggle, and crops smashed by weather and drought and all, you know, all those different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You talk about that in your book, about your mindset when you were growing up and how it affected your relationship with money. So,
Yes, and the funny thing, my dad was always he had a wicked sense of humour, and he didn't mind a glass of beer. And he used to tell everyone that, he called me Katie. Katie's a financial planner because he drank beer, because apparently I'd collected all his bottle tops and I could add up and take away up to 100 before I went to school. So,
That's so cool.
he took the credit for it. But it was that thinking, gee, you know, I've seen how hard they've had to live. I wouldn't give up living on a farm, though, for anything. That was a wonderful way to grow up. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's salt of the earth,
Yes.
being on a farm,
Yes.
not like the city. It's too busy, right?
Yes.
And very busy nowadays. I think it's an absolute luxury for people, you know, that have the opportunity to be on a farm today.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, but you also go into your book about abundance not just being money. You know, there's...
Yeah. And I think, you know, in all the different workshops and stuff I've read over time, again, the mindset, people get so caught up in, I don't have this and I don't have that, but there's so many blessings every day that you have, you know, beautiful sheets when you climb into bed at night, and you've got a comfy bed or a pillow, and, you know, being able to hop on a plane and go somewhere, and there's wonderful things that we can be so grateful for. The beautiful sunrise and sunset, you know, and when you point that out to people, they sort of look at you like, oh yeah, I suppose it is nice, you know, but and then when they take the time to really go, wasn't that an amazing sunrise or sunset? So yeah, I think it's just creating an awareness that we can, if we choose to see blessings, they're there.
Yeah, it's which way you look at things, really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Even if it's rainy, you can say at least the grass is getting, you know.
That's exactly
There's
right.
also silver linings.
But it's also we also have to go through the heavy stuff, and that's part of life. It's just when there is heavy stuff, you might not stay down as long, that you've learnt to pick yourself up and say, okay, what's good, what's going well, and what do I need to continue in that direction.
I use gratitude when I wake up at night. You know, I don't know if everyone else wakes up during the night. Occasionally I can sleep through, but occasionally, and at various times in different parts of my life, I wake up but I've realised very recently that if I'm grateful, like I've got my pillow.
Yes.
Like my
Yes.
dinner's really comfortable.
Yes,
like,
absolutely. Yes.
and then I'll go back to sleep really easily.
Yeah.
You know, rather than watching TikTok and trying to go back to sleep.
Yeah, which there's a whole other thing about that.
That's right. So you've obviously had a lot of clients come into you over the years. Is there like a common theme about a blockage with their money mindset or wealth mindset?
Very often, yes. And I ask my clients, there's the normal things that we have to learn, you know, how much income you've got coming in, and what does it cost you to live, and that's a discipline as well. But it's focusing on the things, what's on your wish list in life, what are the things that you really want to do, And it's really funny when you have husbands and wives, I get them to write separate lists. And when they come back and like, I didn't know he wanted to go heli skiing off the slopes of New Zealand, or I didn't know she wanted to go trekking in Nepal, and it's
getting to know one another.
Exactly. And so many people have said, have you done a marriage counselling? So, because often the stuff that comes apart in relationships, well, communication, but also communication about money as well. Yeah. And if people have different styles in the way they treat money or understand, and just bringing them all onto the same page so that they've got a common goal to work towards, and then celebrating the journey, because our thing for Goals and Dreams is helping our clients achieve their goals and dreams and enjoying the journey. It's not just about all working towards the future. It's about, hey, you want to go to a holiday to New Zealand? Let's work out how we can make that happen. And then people feel more empowered. And once they're on that track, they know they continue to take steps in the right direction, and they're learning more. And in the school system, they don't teach you anything about investing, or it's all fear-based.
They don't teach you anything about life skills whatsoever, as far as I can see.
No, and in the past,
as from my own experience, and now with my children's.
Yeah, when my kids were in high school, I used to go and do little lectures and things at school to help the kids learn about the important things of life. And
they don't teach you about tax or voting or financial planning or even how to budget.
Yes, and before I was a financial planner, I worked in a bank, and I knew about loans and term deposits, and it was interesting. I had a boss who gave me a bit of a push, go and I think you'd be a good financial planner, go and do your study. And many years later, he became a client. So he was planning. He was planning
there you
ahead.
go.
Yeah, but
that's a testimonial right there.
Yeah, for me, when I was learning about all these other things of investing other than a term deposit, I was like, how long has all this been going on? Why didn't somebody teach me this at school? So that's one of the things. No matter what age you are, I think the book, you're never too late. It's never too late to learn new things. But I do want to, perhaps do workshops and things like that for younger people as well, to get them not just the money side of things, but the way that they're thinking and the way they carry themselves, and
it'd be a great subject to have at school. Imagine if you could set children up for life to be able to, live in an abundant lifestyle rather than struggling, particularly in today's climate. I mean, you turn on the news, there's so much about the cost of living, and there's not enough housing, and all these crises going on. And even just listening to your book, it just makes you feel more positive.
Oh, that's good.
You know what I mean? And that there is hope for your future if you just have the right mindset. But you're right, there's fear-mongering that makes you think,
yes,
there's no way forward.
And that's what I endeavour to do with my clients, is take that fear away and replace it with knowledge. So, and it's not just all dumped on them at once. It's step by step by step, so that they realise, so if markets go down, you don't panic. If you've got more money, buy some more, because it's cheap, and
silver lining again.
And it's just pulling all the pieces together and giving people direction, I think, and in a positive way. That sometimes you have to be ready to help yourself. If you're not ready to make a change, I can do all the things in the world and give you all the pointers, but if you're not ready to make a change, I can only help you if you're ready to take that on. And like you were saying before, sometimes you read a book and you might not have been ready for that message. I know I've gone back and read books, I'm like, how did I not get that message before? So teacher arrives when the student is ready. So
true, true.
Yeah.
You've actually got it in your book about a 16-year-old child of one of your clients who the mum or dad said to you, do you think you'd be able to have a word with them?
Yes, yeah. So, and that's really a lovely thing over all the years in financial planning, where I've seen clients and then they have introduced me to their kids or grandkids. So often we've got the 3 generations, because kids are usually they won't listen if
They
mum
don't
and
want to
dad.
listen to their parent.
But if someone else can say this, and one client that I'm just thinking about now, he's been a client for a long time, and when his kids were teenagers, he brought them in and said, "Can you teach them what you've taught me?" And it was quite funny because halfway through the discussions, all my words were coming out of his mouth, and I went, okay, he's
been listening. He was ready.
he's learnt along the way, but
So all sorts of ages can come and discuss their financial dreams and goals with you, right?
Yeah, and I think this is where the book, it gives you a pointer in the direction, but if you've got a complicated situation or you need more help, then you need to see, a financial planner that you trust and feel comfortable with. So not just goals and dreams, but,
Anyone that you think gels with you?
Yes, someone that you feel comfortable with. So I know one of my clients, when she had a business advisor and she was shopping around for a financial planner, and she and I just gelled, and I was the only female that she'd seen, and she said, "Oh, you didn't talk down to me."
Right.
Which was interesting. So you've got to find someone that you feel comfortable with, and that gets someone who can relate to you, and understand.
You're very relatable. I think I liked you
thank
from
you.
the first moment. Well, when we chatted on Zoom before you even came in.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think you're just very caring and empathetic about your demeanour, and I even said to my kids, maybe I should have a chat with Kath about my goals and dreams.
Well, start thinking.
Well, that's a lot. I mean, we'll go back to your book. How beautiful is the cover? And you took the.
I did. I was up at Whitehaven Beach in Queensland, North Queensland, and I just took that photo with my phone, and I just loved all the depths of the various colours, and it was so beautiful. And I was really surprised when it was quality enough to use on the cover.
Yeah, amazing. But attitude, abundance and action. Yeah, I was saying that I said to my girls that I want to talk to you about my goals and dreams, and then having to actually think about my goals and my dreams. Because you've got a section in there about what are your goals. That's a confronting thing probably for a lot of people, because for me, I'm right in the middle of doing what I'm doing, and I haven't really thought about what are my goals. And I'm going to cry when I start thinking about my goals.
Well, you wouldn't be the first person.
Right.
And this is where I say to people, sit down, with a cuppa or a glass of wine or whatever, and pen and paper, because something happens with the neural pathways in your brain when you actually write things down. The things that you want to do, short, medium and long term, and allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to, and then we just work out, well, what's achievable and what might have to, might have to give up some of this to get that if you want to do, but it's really looking at enjoying the journey and focusing, back to what I was saying before, focusing on the things that you want to do and not just get stuck in that rut of the same old every day. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm that, and those words, I'll never have anything, I'll never be able to. That language is what often keeps people exactly where they are.
Yeah.
So they need to break out of that.
So I don't know whether there's any stigma about it, but, when you hear people talking about a financial planner, to me that kind of conjured up, like they're talking to a financial planner, you need a lot of money to go and see a financial planner. Is that the case?
Well, financial planning has gone through so many rules and regulations and everything. They have made it very expensive, but you've got to start somewhere. Yeah. And sometimes it's just getting an initial consultation and having a look. Okay, you're on the right path, and like a gentleman I shared, I think I said he lives in Sydney and he read the book and then contacted me and said, I need more than what's in the book. I know I've got a blockage towards money. So we took him through all of that. He was earning good money. He had a mindset that he would never be able to have his own place. Within a short period of time, he'd been in touch with a mortgage broker, got an approval, then found the perfect house. Like, he manifested.
Wow.
And all in such a short period of time. And he said, when I changed my mindset, it all just started flying. So it was so lovely. Next time I was down in Sydney, I actually caught up with him, and he took a photo and he put this post up on Facebook. This book changed my life. And I'm like, that was so, humbling for me.
Yeah.
And just to be able to point people in the right direction. So getting financial advice can be, there is a cost involved. Like, the recommendations that we do, a statement of advice can take 30 hours work. So it's not just,
It's not just something that's going to take 5 minutes.
Yeah, but we've often saved people so much money, tax, give them growth, and it's pulling all those pieces of your life together. Like, do you have a will and an enduring power of attorney? Do you have insurance if anything happened to you? There's all those pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that
there's a lot there.
Together.
So and you've incorporated it all in attitude, abundance, and action. So your attitude towards money and wealth and your life, basically. And are you thinking the good thoughts or the bad thoughts? Are you being negative? Are you being positive? And then abundance, what is abundance to you? And then you go through with your action about getting it all in order. There's a lot to consider, getting it all in order.
Yeah, and just quickly, I'll tell you this funny little story. I have a little grandson, and when the book was first printed and they send you the first copy to read, and my daughter said, we have to film you opening it. And I've always had a magic wand in my office, and it's a bit of a fun thing if someone's 40 and they say they want to retire tomorrow, and if I know they've got a sense of humour, I'll get the magic wand and it makes this bling sound.
That's so cool.
And they just laugh. Anyway, so
it fits in with your holistic approach too, doesn't it? So much.
Yeah, and anyway, so this day we're opening the book, and it was quite emotional. And my little grandson says, "Oh, Nana, can I help you open it?" So he's helping me open it without any prompting. He walked over, picked up my magic wand, came over, waved it over the book and said, "This book will sell more than 1 million copies." And I just looked at my daughter and she looked at me, and I'm like,
that is cool.
Here's my 7-year-old grandson teaching me to think bigger about,
Amazing.
Because, you do a print run, you don't order 1 million copies.
No, of course not, but maybe you should.
Well, it certainly gave me a lot to think about, that someone at that age, and he was in one of my Book and Bubbles launches, and he said to his mum on the way home, he said, Nana had some really interesting things to say. And I'm like, oh my God, if a 7-year-old is picking this up, it took me an adult to get all this stuff. So
he's got a bright future.
Yes.
The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, they say. So, well, I mean, obviously you've instilled a very good mindset, and so has your daughter instilled a very good mindset to him. But what about your mindset? Have you always thought positively?
I believe so. My aunt and uncle talk about me when I was 3 and said I was always Pollyanna and
right.
always, so but I guess life hands you lots of challenges. And I remember my mum always saying to me, you should have had such an easy life. You're such a happy person. But it's those things and challenges along the way that give you that inner strength and ability to be able to, carry on and look for the bright things and look for the positives in things. And then,
That's really cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
And then what about your goals and dreams? Have you done your own financial planning on yourself?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Because I haven't done my own audiobook yet.
Well, there you go. Yes, because, I've been a planner for a long time, and writing the book, one of my dear friends who gave me the push to write the book
That was
and
my next question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a clairvoyant and a foot reader and a masseuse and a reflexologist and all these different things. And she's convinced I'm going to write another book as well. So,
Is that right?
Yes, we'll wait and see what happens about that one. But yes, it's taken me a long time to find the right people to take over my business, Goals and Dreams, because, I've been a planner, as I said, for 37 years. That's a long time. And I found these two amazing ladies who I'll be passing the baton to. So
your new endeavour and your new path is about, like, with your writing, obviously.
The next chapter, and one of my friends said, we have to think of a better word than retirement. So I've come up with a word, adventurement.
Nice.
And then I researched it, and it was a word in the 1500s, but it's not used anymore, so I'm bringing it back.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. So,
how good's that? Adventurement.
Yes, and having, like, when I said to my clients, and they said, oh, well, you've helped us. You need to go and do the things you want to do as well. And I said, well, I'll have more time to come and have a meal with you, or a cuppa, or whatever. So, and all the wonderful places they've travelled to, that I've done a fair bit of travel as well, but there's still a long list of places I want to go to.
Exciting. So, how did the decision come to sell your business? I mean, you've said to me both in your book and off air that your book is your baby. Your business was your third baby, and your book's your fourth baby.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I look back now and think, how did I write that book and do all the hours and run the business and do all the challenges and things? And
Superwoman, mate.
Well, and see, that's the thing.
You're like an adventurement.
Well, I think we all are guilty of that. Sometimes you're on that hamster wheel and you're just going and going and going.
Yeah.
And at times when I pressed pause and went up into the mountains in the nature and sat to write the book, I'm like, and then even when I was going through the editing process of it, I was reading it and thinking, I need to take my own advice, because we do get so caught up in the day-to-day things.
Did you cry over those goals and, the goals that you might have? Did that bring emotion to you?
Well, it's something I've always been very focused on, this is where you're going and this is what I'm doing. And that's why I worked for a major bank and why I couldn't do financial planning their way. There was no caring, no nurturing, and so I just had to take that big step and go out and start and do it my way. It's sort of, after growing up on a dairy farm and working in the dairy from like your 2 years of age to, going to the next chapter. It's been a really interesting journey and exciting new journey.
Yeah, new doors opening.
Yes.
Was it hard to make that decision? I'm going to sell my business.
I've been looking for the right person for a while, and a few didn't didn't eventuate, because I never wanted my business to be sold to a big corporate and carved up, and I wanted the right people with the right heart and to be able to continue it on. And I've found these two lovely young ladies.
You didn't want Amazon to own it.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting that very clever young women and who both have hearts. So they're very intelligent, and so I feel very confident that I'm passing the baton on to the right people. And
you're still going to have your hand in it a little bit?
Yes, they still want me to be the ambassador for Goals and Dreams, so that's quite exciting. And over the years, I always write a poem at Christmas for the clients, and they would like me to do that. And we do little winery tours for clients as well. So
that sounds
so I get to do all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And
That's good. With no hard work, you've done it all. You've laid the foundation for yourself there.
Yes,
well done.
It's. I know I've counselled so many clients over the years, but I think the time's ready. I want to be able to go and enjoy and
And you already are in
Yes.
small ways. You've just been out on the ocean on a cruise.
Yes.
A very short one, just to step out of the office for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was lovely. And goodness, thinking about abundance, just leave Brisbane for 3 days, perfect weather, and you're like, how good is this? This is our home.
I call it God's country.
Absolutely. But so many beautiful places in the world that clients have come back from and said, oh, Kath, you have to go to Iceland and you have to go, so my list is getting longer and longer. So,
Well, I've just come back from overseas. There's a few that you can add to it.
Fabulous.
Belfast.
Yes.
Giant's Causeway.
Yes.
Oh, it's the most amazing thing. It's, who I didn't even envisage that they would have views like that, and it's breathtaking. Breathtaking.
I've got some. We have a little Facebook page for clients, the Travel Taste and Trivia, where they put up photos of different things, or just the clients' travels themselves. And I'm, been living vicariously through. Oh, I've got to go there now. That looks fabulous.
So how much longer have you got in the business? How much longer can you help clients? Are you still?
So myself only a short while, only a couple more months actually, but the girls will be taking over and the whole team will be there. So that's why they've bought into the Goals and Dreams, because they wanted to run a business the way that Goals and Dreams has been, that cares about people and looking after people. So,
what about if people want to contact you?
Yes, well, we've got we've got the Goals and Dreams website, goalsanddreams.com.au. There's an author website, kathorman.com.
And you're available for public speaking on this subject?
I am.
Tell us about that.
I actually, a number of years ago, did a Speak Your Way to Success course, which was very exciting. Being able to get a message across to people and deliver it in a way that will make a difference to people's lives. Yeah. And so I think all those pieces of the puzzle are sort of coming together now. And like I was saying to you, thinking about how to run workshops and things for the younger generation.
Very important.
Because there's so many...
youth groups, maybe even church groups.
Schools
would be great, if there's any teachers or principals listening.
There's so much sadness and suicide and depression around these days. Yeah. And, it might sound simple, but if people aren't taught about being mindful of what they're thinking about and what they're constantly, because the things we say to ourselves, we would never say to a dear friend.
So true.
We wouldn't berate them. We wouldn't use that language. Yet we do it to ourselves.
Yeah, you can drop something and say, "Oh, you idiot," or whatever.
Exactly.
Those sort of things. Don't do that.
No, and it's just. Like one of the things I say in the book when there's bad stuff happening, and just to try and say, fortunately, and then my kids would look at me and I'm like, you fill in the blanks. You tell me something that's fortunate. Oh, Mum.
Yeah.
But it also...
Don't you understand how bad it is? But you're right.
It's just switching that, from the absolute pits of misery, which we all have and we've all gone through. But, and there's a little example I've got in the book, The Pit of Misery. Don't move in with your TV and your couch and stay there. There is a ladder to get out. The sun's shining, the birds are singing, And then sometimes we need to be in that, but just don't stay there.
Yeah.
Depending on the stuff that you're going through. I mean, there's a lot of grief and things you need people to help you with, perhaps.
I've been through that recently, obviously.
Yes,
I mean, I went overseas and then I realised, I found out I had cancer on my lip that got cut out and whatever. But it's a struggle because now I know what it feels like and I've got to have radium. But you're allowed to sit with those feelings.
Yes.
And you're allowed to say, okay, well, I'm going through this, and acknowledge it to yourself, because that's how you come to terms with it. But you got to get on. You got to get on and move on after that.
And I think once your awareness about that increases, I know if I'm going through particularly challenging stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend an hour in the pit and then I'm coming out. And, you know, after about 20 minutes, I think I've had enough. The sun's shining outside, go outside.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like coming to terms with it, right? I'm going to take the time to wallow in it, and usually you're right, okay, I've had enough. You're amazing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. It's just, I think we're all energetic human beings, and if you stay in that pit of misery, then you'll stay there. But if you lift yourself up and then you find nicer people, that you might have toxic people in your relationships, and when you let go of that, then you're more drawn towards nicer people who will, you know, lift you up, and you'll have more lovely energy bouncing around.
So true. So true. Just keep those good thoughts going as much as you can. And if you find yourself having a bad thought, think it's only momentarily, you've recognised that and move on to the good thought.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, attitude, abundance and action will definitely help you do that. It's very insightful, helps you get on the right mindset, realise what you want, the abundance you want to bring in there, and the actions to get there. Written and narrated now superbly. I've just said that a couple of times with her gorgeous smile in her voice, Kath Orman. Well done. And thank you so much for choosing to do this with me and being a part of my podcast today.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yes, I feel very blessed to have been directed to you. So,
thanks so
right
much.
Person. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Don't forget, if you like Kath's story, to like the video, share it with people that you think will need to listen to it or want to listen to it or just want to improve their lives. And of course, please subscribe to my channel, because I am very fortunate that I get to speak to amazing authors like Kath Orman, and they're looking to get their words out. So if you can help with that by sharing, subscribing and liking, that would be awesome. And catch you next time on the Simone Feiler podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining the Simone Feiler podcast. What's your story? Contact Simone for a chat at brisbaneaudiobookproduction.com.